Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ZTV. I'm Alexandra, and I will be your host for tonight. And tonight is Tuesday, July 20th. And today we will be meeting some more of Alexandria's animals that are currently at the Animal Welfare League of Alexandria. And I'm here tonight with Gina, who is the Director of Marketing at the AWLA. Welcome, Gina. I'm stumbling a
It's
little
great to be
bit.
here, Alexandra. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And so we can start right in. One of the first animals that we are meeting tonight is we're going to be experiencing some bonded pairs. I thought maybe before we get into some of the videos, we could talk a little bit about bonded pairs. I know that we did an episode about it a few months back, but could you tell us a little bit about bonded pairs?
Yes, so you're going to meet Daisy and Nellie first. They are a bonded pair of cats. They're about 20 months old, so they're not old, but they've lived together for their entire lives. And like so many bonded pairs, no matter how much time they spent together, they are just the best of friends. They're going to be each other's rocks and each other's support systems. And we know that those animals are going to thrive in homes where they are together along with their new human best friends. So we're certainly looking for a home together for Nellie and Daisy, and we'll learn a little bit more about them in just a minute.
Great. So let's get into the video.
So the one who is giving her best close-up to the camera right now is Daisy. If you look really close, you can see that she does have some issues with her sight. She's pretty much entirely blind, but that's what she depends on her brother Nellie for. So I know Nellie, you think, is a girl's name. He came to us with the name Nellie, so we're going to let him keep it, and he is just a very handsome boy. These guys are about 20 months old each. We don't think they're actually genetically siblings, but they've lived together their entire lives and they really help each other out. Daisy, as I mentioned, is blind, but Nellie really helps her find her way around the world. And Nellie is a bit of a shy guy. You can see he's a little standoffish over there while he makes himself comfortable. But Daisy's a little bit bolder, and I think she makes him feel a little bit comfortable in new spaces and just new environments.
Yeah, and how old are Daisy and Nellie?
So they're about 20 months old, yeah, so a little under 2 years. They are fully grown, but especially Daisy, as you can see, she still kind of has that kittenish attitude, and she just loves exploring. Part of it is because she can't see, but she's getting really bold with us, and I love seeing how she adventures every day. She is definitely sniffing at the camera. She's there for her buddy Nellie, but she's just curious about what's going on in here right now.
What are their energy levels like?
So right now, because they are in an environment where they're both a little shy, it's hard to tell. I think in a house where they'll be comfortable, I think we'll see a lot more of Nellie. You can see he's definitely a speedy guy. He likes taking up his space. I have also seen him, and it's hilarious. If you come in the morning, he's climbed all the way up the top of the screen door. So I think he's got some adventure in him. And then, like I said, Daisy is a little bit more outgoing right now, so she definitely loves to jump. She loves to play. And despite the fact that she can't see, I've seen her jump right into my lap, jump right onto this chair. I think when she gets herself comfortable and gets to know her space, she's going to be a really energetic, also very fun girl.
In specific with Daisy, what should an adoptive parent know about a cat who cannot see like her?
So the good thing about Daisy is she really seems to have taken it in her stride. I don't know if she ever had sight, if she lost her sight when she was a little bit older, but she doesn't seem to let it bother her. So I think it's always good to give cats like Daisy a chance to figure out where she is, to get to know her environment. A lot of times people will say, if you have a living space, maybe don't change it up a lot just because they get used to a certain layout. But I think she would figure it out pretty quickly. She's such a clever girl.
And I know a few months back we did a whole episode on bonded pairs. For those who didn't see, what is a bonded pair?
Yes, we were actually thinking about showing you a couple other bonded pairs today. I'll tell you a little bit more about some of them. But a bonded pair are basically a pair of animals who have spent their lives or a good portion of their lives together. And they're best friends, but there's so much more than that. They're each other's support system. So whereas some animals might live together and they might be fine with each other, they might be friends, they also could potentially go in different directions. But we know Daisy and Nellie rely on each other so much, they make each other so comfortable that to have them go to a home separately, it just wouldn't be fair and it wouldn't be kind for them. And we know there is a fantastic home out there for them.
Great, thank you. And what programs do you guys have available for adoptive parents?
So right now we are doing adoption by appointment, so people can schedule an appointment to meet these two wonderful kitties at alexandriaanimals.org/adopt-by-appointment. We follow up with all our adopters because we want to make sure that things are going well, or if they have any questions when an animal is in a home, that we have the opportunity to answer them. And we also do have a behavior hotline. That's for people who've adopted from us, but also just people in the community who have questions about animals in their care. We just want to be be able to answer any questions that they might have. Hi, sweetie. And again, help set them up for success and help the animals have the best home that they can.
Great, thank you. And these two really do seem so friendly.
They are just lovely.
All right, those two cats really were so cute. I know we spoke about this in the video, but what is a program that would be available for an adoptive parent who's looking to adopt, for example, for the first time, a blind cat and may not know how to handle a situation like that?
So I think the biggest thing is actually when they meet with our adoptions team, we want to be there to answer any questions that you might have and also provide guidance and advice for things that you might not even have thought of. So we have a variety of information that we give to new pet owners, period, and it might be a little different for a new dog owner versus a new cat owner. And then we certainly would give some more guidance on helping cats like Nellie and Daisy feel comfortable in a home. It might be that you start them in a small space. That's actually pretty normal for a lot of cats. So maybe they stay to one room, and then as they get a little bit more comfortable, they get used to the space, they expand throughout your house. And that'll really give Daisy a little bit more opportunity to make that mental map so she gets a better idea of where she's living, where things are, where all the fun toys are, and where she wants to make sure she's not, running into anything or getting stuck.
And it was really incredible even to see Daisy in specific just running around the room so easily, almost as if she knew her way, despite the fact that she can't see.
She's such a brave girl, and she's so clever, and I can't wait for somebody to have the opportunity to see her truly come out of her shell in a home environment. She's just going to blossom. And I think Nellie is too. And knowing that they're there for each other and that they're providing that support, I think they're going to do so even more quickly once they find that person.
And what are their energy levels like? I know that once they kind of got accustomed to us being there, they were comfortable running around. What do you think they're like?
Yeah, I think given that they are 20 months old, they are still pretty young. They're going to be medium energy at least, maybe medium to high energy. And obviously every cat is a little bit different. And I think once they feel more comfortable in their space, you'll get a better idea of how they do and their energy levels.
Okay, great. And now we'll go into meeting our next pair. Would you like to say something else quickly?
I think we were going to talk a little bit more about other bonded pairs as well. As we mentioned, we had a show a couple of months ago where we had a few bonded pairs, and once again at the AWLA, we do have several bonded pairs. And people may think of bonded pairs especially with cats, but it's interesting because we also have a bonded pair of dogs. Their names are Aggie and Chloe, and I love these guys because they're an odd couple. If you see that picture on screen, unlike Daisy and Nellie, who kind of look similar, we've got a pug mix. She's about 4 years old. That's Chloe on the left, and then Aggie is the larger girl. She's a hound mix, and she's 10 years old, but they have lived together for Chloe, the pug's whole life, and they're great, and they are so energetic. They're such fun girls, and it's funny. Oh, I love that picture too. You can just see like they're sharing. They're such good sisters, but unlike Daisy and Nellie, who I think rely on almost each other first for support, I think Chloe and Aggie both really love attention of people. And sometimes if you go in a room, they'll almost like push each other out of the way because they're just like, no, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. They definitely want to be with each other in their new home, but they also want to be with their new people. And then besides them, we also have a bonded pair of bunnies, Blossom and Buttercup. They're lovely young girls. You can see a picture here. They actually, even though this is a sign for our foster, they just came back from foster. I love their neck fluff. They're just really beautiful girls. And so bonded pairs can come in a lot of different fashions. And for those of you who would have liked to have learned more about Aggie and Chloe, they were actually at surgery yesterday, so we couldn't meet them when we were taping, but they are going to be at Lost Boys Cider for Yappy Hour tomorrow. That's Wednesday the 21st. So if you're interested in meeting them and learning more about them, we'll be there from 4 to 6. So we hope you'll stop by.
It really is so sweet to see how these animals form this bond, and the fact that you guys are so willing and want to keep them together, I think is incredible.
It's just so important to make sure that these animals are receiving what they need to be successful in a home, and what they really need is to be there with their best friend. And we know that that's going to make them happier, and ultimately it's going to make for the most successful adoption. So everybody's going to win when you adopt one of these bonded pairs.
Of course. All right. And so now that we've learned a little bit more about bonded pairs, we'll get into meeting our next Alexandria's animal.
Yes, so next we're going to meet Bertha. I just love Bertha, and I think I probably say that several times. In some ways, I think Bertha is just one of those cats you have to see to believe. So let's take a look at her.
So this lovely lady here is Bertha. Isn't she beautiful?
Yes.
I just love she's got these bright green yellow eyes. I swear, I think they must glow in the dark. But Bertha is a lot of fun because Bertha is the kind of cat who really tells you who she is and what she wants. So I like coming in here and sitting down, and Bertha just decides she's going to crawl in your lap. But she'll also let you know, when she's ready for petting. If she decides she's done, if she's getting overexcited, she'll just go back in her bed. So I really like that Bertha knows who she is and lets you know too, because that's going to help you be a better pet companion to her.
And how old is Bertha?
So Bertha's about 9 years old. 9 years is technically a senior for us, but I think Bertha's a pretty spry lady, and she decides, when she wants to be active. Right now she's being a little friendly, saying hey and greeting you by doing a little head bump on the door here. And the other thing is sometimes she'll sit down in your lap. She's a pretty social eater, so I'm not sure if she's going to do it right now, but sometimes she'll just sit on you and at the same time kind of munch on her food. There she goes. It's like she's taking lines from me, like she's got a script, but she's a very specific lady, but I really like that about her.
Does she do well with other cats?
So Bertha definitely wants to be your only cat. I mean, you can see she's the kind of cat who just wants to sit in your lap, and I don't think she'd want to share that with anybody else. So she's looking to be your only cat in her new household.
And what type of environment do you think would be best for Bertha?
So Bertha, because she does know what she likes and likes to tell everybody, she's looking for a house that's a little bit quieter. She definitely wants to be able to have her time, like I said, to go to her bed and lay down and not have people who are necessarily trying to pet her or entertain her. But at the same time, you can see right there, she is actively soliciting affection. She's saying bump because that's her way of saying, I want your attention and I want you to pet me and hang out with me.
Yeah, and is there anything else in specific a prospective adopted parent should know about her?
I think just that she is just such a fabulous lady. I mean, right here, I think she's posing for the camera. I think Bertha is a very clever kitty, and I think you need to be ready for that in your household, for having a cat who's at least as smart as you, and who doesn't want that?
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you.
Bertha really was so cute. She is a little bit of an older cat, correct?
She is 9 years old. Like I said, 9 years old is technically a senior, but I don't think she knows that, and I don't think she's going to let anybody else think that. My favorite thing was just after we turned the camera off and I said, okay, Bertha, it's time to get up. We're going to go do some more taping. And she wouldn't let me. She just sat on my lap, and she was just like, you're not going to move me. I'm too sweet and lovely. And we sat there for another minute as I tried to kind of adjust her a little bit. And like I said, she knows what she wants, and she knows how to get it. In that situation, she wanted to hang out on my lap and get pets, and she absolutely did.
Yeah, of course. And so how for a prospective adoptive family who is looking to get a cat like Bertha, what tips would you have for them to kind of sense when the cat does want to be pet and is like willing to be pet, or kind of just wants time for themselves?
In this situation, I definitely say let Bertha take the lead. You didn't see right before the video started, but I sat down, I sat for a minute, and then she came out and came on my lap. And that's how I knew Bertha was looking to hang out. She was looking to get some pet and get some attention. But sometimes she's like, you know what? I'm still sleepy. It's still morning. I just had a big breakfast or lunch, and I'm just going to hang out in my space. And I say, if that's what she's doing, then follow her lead. Let her have her space. She's great about letting you know what she wants, and I think definitely follow that.
Yeah. And does she have any favorite treats or toys that she's kind of grown accustomed to at the shelter?
So she doesn't really have any specific, I know we'll say this later on, but a lot of our senior animals, I think they realize they've kind of got to that point where they're not babies anymore, they're not kids, and they don't necessarily have things like favorite toys. She does love almost any kind of treat that you can give her. She might stand to lose a pound or two. Don't tell her I said that. But I think when we provide more information to potential adopters, we'll certainly talk to them about diet plan and just making sure that we're keeping Bertha as healthy as we can so she can have many more spry and happy years.
Of course. Well, it was great meeting Bertha, and we'll get into our next animal now.
Great. So we met a couple cats, and now we're going to meet a couple dogs. We have another wonderful senior. Her name is Delilah, and I just think she's so much fun. She actually spends her days right now behind our front desk. She likes to greet all her visitors, and she loves seeing people come in because she is just a real people dog. And you'll see a little bit more about her now.
This lovely lady is Delilah, and obviously when I say lovely, I mean it. She is just gorgeous. It's funny because I brought a toy for her because I know she loves her ball, and she seems to have found another one out there. Delilah, is that your ball? She loves her ball.
My
It's
gosh.
funny. It's just, she happened to find it on the floor one day, and she just really, really liked it.
What are Delilah's energy levels like?
So Delilah is 9 years old. Again, she's technically a senior. I would say she is a little bit older as a dog, so she's not the most energetic. She definitely, when people are getting up and moving around, she likes to follow them. She likes to play with the ball. See, I say she's not energetic, and there she goes with her ball. And she's not necessarily looking to throw it far and fetch it, but she does kind of almost toss it for herself. But a lot of the time, she's just going to be the kind of dog who's going to lay around, take a nap. She loves to hang out in people's laps. So like I said, she follows people around a little bit, and then when she knows what's going on, she's happy, she's chill.
Yeah, do you guys know if she does well with other dogs or big families?
Delilah's definitely looking, again, much like Bertha, to be a home where she's your only dog. And again, much like Bertha, I mean, I think if she thinks of herself as a big old lap dog, there's not going to be room for another dog in that lap. So she's definitely, she'd like to be the only dog. If you have another dog at home and you're interested, we're always happy to do an introduction here, but we think she would be just as happy being your one and only.
What type of space do you think does she needs? Does she need like a lot of space, or does she do well in an apartment?
So because she is a little older and a little lower energy, she isn't necessarily looking for a place that has tons of yard to run around. She definitely still wants to get out and go on walks. The thing to consider is if she's not always looking to meet other dogs, if you're in a space that has a lot of other dogs around, like if you're in an apartment, just thinking about, are you going to be in an elevator with a lot of dogs, passing them in the hallways, things like that. But our team is always happy to talk to you a little bit more about both her personality, her behavior, and how you can work with her on interacting with other dogs in kind of those limited capacities.
And is there anything health-wise that someone looking to adopt her should know about her?
So she did recently have a mass removed from one of her front legs. We're not particularly concerned about what it was. It doesn't seem like it had any negative effects. Because she's older, we do want to make sure she's going to the vet probably twice a year at this age, as opposed to just for an annual visit. And that's just to make sure she's doing her best, she's feeling her most comfortable. Vets might recommend, some blood test or giving her some supplements occasionally because she's a little bit older, but nothing else that we know of.
And where can people go who want to adopt her to find her to reach out to you guys? What is your website?
After seeing her, I think everybody's going to want to adopt her, right? So if we're doing adoptions by appointments right now, just to make sure we're keeping everybody safe, so you can visit alexandriaanimals.org/adopt by appointment for more information and to schedule some time to meet lovely Delilah here.
Perfect, thank you.
Of course.
She really was so sweet and had such a mellow energy. It's funny to me how in the end of the clip we're like, oh, she doesn't like toys, and she's squeaking her ball just in time for the clip to end.
I think sometimes they know what I'm saying about them, and they're just like, no, you don't know me. Let me show you a whole other side of me. And I feel like that can be said for any animals. You think you get to know them, you think you have them in and out, but animals, just like people, are very individual, and they're very changeable, and that's one of the things I love most about them. So Delilah is going to be one dog, but she's going to be so many dogs for her future family.
Yeah, of course. And we've talked a little bit about senior pets, but do you have any advice for an prospective adopter who's looking to adopt a pet that is a senior?
I think definitely take advantage of our adoptions team. Ask them all kinds of questions. We try and gather as much information as possible, and that may be different about any animal. Some animals we have maybe their full lifetime medical history, and sometimes we have their history when they were with us. Sometimes we know a lot about who they've lived with and their behavior, and again, sometimes they might be coming to us as a stray, and we don't have that much information, but we're going to try and give you everything that we have about that animal, and then everything we know about how to set them up to succeed. So ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, and know that we'll probably have a lot more to share even besides that.
Of course. And does Delilah do well around people, or would she do better in a more quiet environment?
So like I said, she is at our front desk, and part of the reason is because she just loves being around people. She loves seeing all the new people that come in the building. She'll kind of be lying on a bed behind our front desk, but she hears that door open and she's like, hi, who's there? Are you a new friend? And maybe do you also have treats for me? I think she's not necessarily looking for something that's hustle and bustle, but she does like hanging out with people, and she likes meeting new people. So I think she would be in her element in a family where she had all kinds of companions of all ages.
Yeah, of course. And she seems so friendly. Even when we first walked in, she came right up to every single one of us. It's so sweet.
It was like she had an individual greeting for each of us. And probably she was making sure that none of us had treats for her.
Of course, I bet. All right. Well, now we'll get into our final animal for the night.
Yes. So we saw Delilah. She was a bigger girl. So we thought we'd meet one of our smaller pups. We're about to meet Joel. He is a 10-year-old terrier mix. We don't know what kind of mix other than just handsome, because he is a very unique looking guy. And on top of that, he has a smile for everyone. Kind of just like Delilah, but you'll see he goes up and greets everybody, and he is going to make somebody a wonderful pet one day. So let's give a little sneak preview of Joel.
So this lovely gentleman is Joel. He is, honestly, he's just such a fun guy. Look at him. He is definitely snuggly. He's definitely cuddly, and he is absolutely a people person. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes and gives his own special greeting to all of us here in the room, because he just loves hanging out.
What is Joel looking for?
Honestly, I think Joel would thrive in almost every kind of family. I have never seen him meet a person or an animal that he doesn't like. He is just friendly, he's outgoing, and he's a pretty chill guy too, so he's not necessarily looking for somebody who's going to take him running every day. I think if you told him you were taking him running every day, he'd just laugh at you. But he'd be so good-natured about it, you'd be okay with it.
Yeah, and what are his energy levels like? He looks right now like he has just such a great energy.
Yeah, I would say like he's a solid medium energy. He isn't, like I said, looking to go running. He definitely likes an adventure. He loves to sniff around. He's going to want to go on that nice walk with you on a nice full day. But he's also definitely going to be on the couch with you at the end of the day and ready to nap and watch some good shows on the TV.
Does he have any favorite toys here at the shelter that he likes?
You know, he hasn't really taken to any toys. I think like some of our older dogs, they've just kind of decided, and see, I say that, and there he starts playing with the ball. But they've just decided, you know, I'm an adult now. I don't necessarily need toys. I think his favorite toy is probably his bed, honestly.
Yeah, health-wise, that an adoptive parent should know about him?
So we haven't really seen anything to be concerned about. Like with Delilah, he's 10 years old, so he is a senior. So we want to make sure he's getting annual and maybe even twice annual appointments, just so vets can make sure they see how he's doing, see his progress, see if he needs anything like any additional changes in diet or anything like that. He's a little larger than maybe he should be, so he's on a special diet right now just to try and lose some weight. You can see he's honestly so fluffy. He has the softest, most luxuriant coat. I feel like that's the biggest thing that I'm sad that people are only seeing him, because I feel like they should all be petting him to see his
he's so
amazingly soft coat.
Yeah, and you said he does well with people and with other dogs. Does he do well with children?
We're not sure if he's ever actually lived with children, but he's just so friendly and so outgoing and such a chill guy that I wouldn't be surprised if he does. And obviously, if you are interested in adopting him, we encourage bringing your whole family so everybody has a chance to meet him and see how they do with him.
Is there anything else in specific someone looking to adopt him should know?
I just feel like saying that he's just such a great little guy. I can't think of anything else. So happy, so outgoing, such an interesting looking little guy. I think he would make a great family for anyone.
Yeah, he really looks so sweet.
And his tail's been wagging the entire time.
The entire time. And it's great because it's got that extra fluffy little plume, so you can really tell when he's a happy guy. And he is always such a happy guy.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I loved meeting Joel. He was almost smiling the whole time. He was so happy. Do you know by chance what breed of dog he is?
So we don't. We say terrier mix on our paperwork, and part of that is because we don't have any historical information about him, about where he came from. But also, one of our favorite games at the shelter, I think, is meeting new dogs who look interesting like Joel, who could be a lot of different kinds of dogs, and trying to guess. So if somebody told me Joel had a little dachshund in him, I wouldn't be surprised at all. If somebody told me that Joel had a little Eskimo in him, I wouldn't be surprised, because he's got that great coat, even if it's a different color. It's not something that we necessarily know, but we know he is a unique individual, and that's the kind of information that we want to give people, what we know about him and what he's going to be like maybe in their home.
Yeah, and because he is so small, do you think he would do well in a small apartment or a big house? Would he do well pretty much anywhere because of his size?
I think he is the type of dog who's absolutely going to do well in so many different environments. He's not looking for a place that has a lot of space to run around. I think he could do well in an apartment because, like you said, of his size. I think just honestly where people are, and probably where that really comfy bed is at the end of the day, that's what's going to make Joel happy.
Yeah, and I know you had mentioned this before, but is Joel good with other animals?
So from the interactions we've seen with him with other dogs, he's been fine with them. He's generally just he's just such a mellow guy. He just goes with the flow. And so he's enjoyed that experience. He's actually also going to be at Gappy Hour with us at Lost Boy Cider tomorrow. So again, anybody who's looking to learn a little bit more about him and feel how soft his coat is, because that's so very important, definitely stop by between 4 and 6 tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. And he was so soft. It was incredible how furry he was. You did mention that he is trying to lose a little bit of weight, and we talked about that before with Delilah, kind of the health concerns. You guys walk through adoptive parents on kind of how to take control of their diet and stuff, correct?
We do. We talk to them about what we've been doing in the shelter. And the other thing is there are a lot of places that you can go that offer free first veterinary appointments for new pets. And we recommend that people reach out to, whether they have an established vet or are looking for a new vet, reach out to that vet as soon as possible. Because one of the things that you want to make sure is when a new pet comes into your home, that you are working closely with your vet so that they're getting a baseline for that animal. They're meeting that animal when they're at their most normal. So if at some point they aren't feeling so well or things seem a little off, your vet, has something to compare it to. So when a new vet meets a new pet, they'll definitely have some guidance, and you can share with them the information that we provided, and then they can talk to you about, for example, potentially continuing a diet, a different form of diet if you're looking to change food. So I think we're happy to give information, but your vet is going to be your long-term best contact for that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, thank you so much. It really was so awesome meeting these animals this time around, and Joel seems so sweet. I hope they all find a great home, every single one of them. They're very cute, all of them.
Yes, and we're glad that you could stop by and have a chance to say hey to all of them, and of course we appreciate you getting them some extra attention tonight.
No, of course, and I mean, it's a treat for me too. I love going in to meet the animals, and they're every single time, they're always such a great different pairs, and it's awesome to see that we can get their faces out there for people to adopt them.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. I have a little bit of information for you guys about the upcoming episodes. On Thursday, we have a ZTV show with Make It Alexandria's Alyssa Kovich, and she's going to be hosting Eddie Gonzalez, who works for the Apothecary Spices in Alexandria, and that'll be on Thursday. And then also make sure to tune in to the Living on Music show on Monday with Steve Hawks. And make sure to also check out our Facebook. We're posting a bunch of content about the good news that's happening in Alexandria, including different videos and photos for you guys to check out. And lastly, just remember to be the good news in Alexandria. Thank you, guys.